This is my Downunder 5 burner barbecue from Barbeques Galore, fully assembled. Now they tell you it's 14 steps to assemble it. What they don't tell you is on average you have 5 sub-steps for each step. So it's about 70 steps really. So it took us about 3 hours, my wife and I, to assemble it. There were a few tricky parts, but overall the documentation was not too bad. I think you should benefit from seeing the steps as I walk through it and show you one by one how it's supposed to be and the tricky parts, and that'll make it quicker for you. The instructions say take the left front and attach it to a side rail, but there's nothing that shows us what a side rail is. We looked closely at the pictures and the holes seem to match this because it has the 3 holes, but this part on the right side that you see is not shown in the diagram, but we're going to go with this. Okay, so this part we just attached, kind of following the instructions. We also got the other side. Now the pieces are not labeled, so you really just have to look at the holes and count the holes, including on the side, to make sure you have the right piece. So here we are completing step 4 in the instructions. Now I just told you that you have to look at the holes, but what we're seeing is there's a few more holes on our pieces than what are in the instructions, but that's just find the closest match. So for step 5, it's pretty much looking like step 4. Okay, so we attach this panel, the side panel, to the piece we built in the previous place. We put screws on each side, so you have high side panel. Same thing over here. So we got 2 of those, and we're getting ready to attach it to this piece. And you can see we put the door magnet on. We're going to put those together. So here's how it looks after completing step 6. We've got these panels all attached. We got it screwed on the bottom side, and we've got the back panel attached. We had a little bit of a tricky part. We had to redo it a few times. First of all, this is the door bracket. This is step 7. This is like the little magnet-like pieces. They go up here. At the same time, you have to put in these grease tray brackets. And it's a little confusing between which part is left and which is right. But here's what you need to know is these grease tray brackets, one side is longer on the bottom and there's some holes. So those go on the bottom. And the other point is, yeah, you have 2 holes on, I suppose, the back side that are going to screw in. On the front side, there's no holes in this grease bracket. It's just kind of slots where it slides in. So the grease bracket has to go in at the same time as the front bracket, and basically you have to screw those in together. That's the trick. So make sure you do that, and make sure you've got these holes on the bottom here. The wider part of the grease bracket is on the bottom. The thin part is on the top. Okay, here we are in step 7. We've got upside down, we got the wheels on, we got the weight balance on. We got those parts on the side where the gas canister is going to rest.
Cylinder hook.
The cylinder hook. Okay, we have the doors on now, and when you open it up, make sure you've got this part up, so it's reading upwards. When you put this on, the top part, I don't know if you can see it, right here, this thing, you can just press it down to get it in. So you put the bottom part of the door in first, and then you press that in and slide it in to get the top part in. And yeah, the other thing we noticed is that there was some hole on one side. It's actually on the bottom. We believe that that's where it belongs. So there should be no hole on the top, and you should be able to close the doors. We got it on. We just completed step 9. We've got the temperature gauge on here. Just be careful about these hoses, because you have to pull them out before you put this on top, this firebox. And there's some on both sides. We almost forgot to do that. The other part is, remember at the beginning I showed you these pieces. We weren't sure if they go inside or outside. Well, we got it right. They do go outside. You have to screw the stand onto the firebox with those pieces. Alright, so we just completed step 10, which is really attaching this left shelf to your barbecue. The instructions were a little confusing, but if we just come down underneath, I'll show you what we did here. So we attached a couple of screws on each side, and also coming from the outside to the inside. One's right here and the other one's right here. And then I was talking about the side fascia. Well, that's this little screw here near this wire, and then there was one more over here. So all this was about was making this whole thing more stable. Alright, step 11, we've attached the side burner. It's a lot like the previous step in terms of parts. The one thing that will be a little confusing is this thing here. This hose. You'll see it'll have to plug into here, and it doesn't look like it's going to fit, but we looked ahead and we understand how that's going to work. We're going to have to unscrew some parts up the top so we can tilt it down and get that into there. Step 12A, as we said previously, we've got this valve stem through, and if we go underneath, you see these are plugged in together, and you have this gas tube coming through. Now the instructions are a little confusing, because if you look at the pictures, they have another tube coming from here, and we don't have that, and we don't believe that belongs in there. So we think that the pictures in the instruction book are wrong. And yeah, we had to loosen this part, this whole side burner, to make that work, and we're going to tighten it in an upcoming step. Okay, we came to a really tricky part. See this hexagon piece for the igniter? It was on there, and in the instructions it's already through that hole. They never tell you that you have to remove this hexagon part to get it through that hole. So now we're going to put that in. And then attach the hexagon. And now we can get the battery in, and finally we'll put the cap on top, and we'll have the whole thing. Step 13, we've almost got what looks like a complete barbecue. Yeah, we've got that on. If you push it in, you hear tick tick tick. We've got that piece on there, and these pieces we just put them on, laid them on top. They seem to go right into place. So here we are. We've attached the back rail and this grease tray and this little thing to catch the grease. And now we have the propane on there, and honestly I had no idea how to put this on, but it was very easy. You can absolutely figure it out without having any experience. So that's all good, and we're done. So this is the Downunder barbecue. The instructions were not too bad, but there were a few tricky parts, and I hope these tips help. Okay, here I am cooking some salmon, and as you can see I made a mess of it. There's just one last comment. When we moved our grill into the place we wanted it, we found that the doors would no longer close properly. And if you read the instructions, that can happen, and you have to undo the doors and readjust them. But we found out that the real problem was we were on a slanted surface, and once we moved it back to a straight surface, we didn't need any other adjustment. So now it's absolutely fine opening and closing. So yeah, if you have that problem, check the surface. Be on a very flat surface, not on a hill, and hopefully everything will fix itself. Okay, thank you. Have a great day. Thank you for watching.